Hey friends, this is Matt. In today's video, I am going to teach you how to make a cool pumpkin carving with a Dremel. Now, if you are new to Dremel rotary tools, that is completely okay. I am going to take you step by step, and you are going to have a lot of fun learning how to do this. The first thing you need to do is find you a pumpkin. I just picked the best one I could find up here at a local store. Now this one wasn't cutting it, so I got another one from my brother's house. I will tell you that story at the end of the video. The tools I'm using here are the Dremel Micro and the Dremel Lite. Now obviously any Dremel will work, but what makes these so special is their small size and they are battery operated. This means that there are no cords to get in your way and you really have an easy time maneuvering around carving the pumpkin. We're going to plug these in so they can have a full charge while we are getting our pumpkin ready. The next thing we need is a pumpkin carving kit. This is optional, but it makes your life a lot easier. I found this template on pumpkinlady.com. Go check them out. They have a ton of templates over there for your pumpkins. I just chose this dog right here, which they are calling the Halloweeny. So what you want to do is just print it out. For the next part here, we will be gutting our pumpkin and removing all the insides of it to get it ready to carve. A lot of people cut the top out of the pumpkin, but I really didn't want to do that, so I decided to cut in the bottom here. I'm using a small sharp knife right here to make the initial cut. But after this, I am going to use the saw blade that came with the pumpkin carving kit. I cut too small of a hole here, so I ended up cutting this 3 more times to get the right size. Now for the fun part, I'm using the pumpkin spoon scraper I got from the carving kit just to get all the goo and the seeds out here. Now that we got all that out, we are going to move on to the stenciling. The stenciling right here ended up being one of the most frustrating parts of this project, but on the 4th attempt, I finally got it with the help of a friend. I just couldn't seem to line all the edges up where I could work with it. So what we did was just cut around all the sides of the paper and relieved all the stress points, and this allowed us to get the stencil on there halfway decent. I still had to work around it, but this helped tremendously. Now we are going to use the provided pumpkin punch from the carving kit and go along the edges of the design and just poke a bunch of tiny holes. If you don't have one of these, just use a push pin. That will work just as well. This is pretty tedious right here, so I just kind of took my time and went around all the edges of the design. Now to take off the stencil. Okay, and it turned out pretty good here. I think I can work with this. Now you don't have to do this, but I'm using a pen right here and I'm just coloring in the negative spaces, negative being the areas that I am going to carve. I did this to keep me from getting confused because on a stencil like this, when you go to carve it, it can be very, very confusing. I didn't want to take any chances, so I just decided to color this in. And that's looking pretty good. Now we get to carve. The first tool I'm going to use is the Dremel light. Just insert the burr there, hit the lock button on the front, and use the provided wrench and give the nut a turn and it's locked in. The burr I will be using is the Dremel 191. I will have all the tools and the burrs listed below in the description. Before we start, we need our safety glasses. Be sure to wear these. We're going to turn the Dremel on right here, not quite full speed, just a little under, and trace the edges of the design. Now give your tool a little bit of pressure here, but not too much. We don't want to go too deep, but we don't want to go too light either. Just remember, you can always take more away, but you can't add back. To remove the stock from the larger areas, I'm just going back and forth in an up and down motion until it all becomes clean. Just continue to go around the outline of your design, trying to keep everything nice and even. If one area is higher than the other, just give it a few passes until it gets equal to the other. To clean everything off here, I just spritzed it with water and just gave it a good wipe down. Now we are moving on to the fine detail. We are using the Dremel Micro with the Dremel 106 burr. The Dremel Micro has a light on the end of it, which is pretty nice. I'm carving the hard to reach areas I could not reach with the previous burr. I'm going to do that and just go along side of the pumpkin and just add a little bit of detail here and there. Now we are going to smooth out all the rough areas. I'm using a tungsten carbide taper burr right here. I will leave a link below on Amazon. We're just going to take this and go along all the rough areas and the sides that need some attention and just try to get the flattest surface that we can. Take your time with this. It is this technique right here that actually makes everything pop out and look nice. And we are looking pretty good. We're going to give this a little squirt of water and wipe it down. And we are just about finished. This is turning out really nice. This part right here is optional. I'm just using a wood carving knife right here and just getting some fine detail in that I missed with the previous burr. To extend the life of this pumpkin, I am going to wash it in some bleach water right here and just give it a good soaking. This will help get all the dirt and everything off of it and will help extend the life of the pumpkin. Okay, and here it is, but we aren't finished yet. We have to add some light underneath it. I got this little LED light right here from Harbor Freight. I would not recommend it though for long-term use because it does lose its battery fast, but it will work for what we are wanting to do with it here. We're going to place it underneath there, and there we go. Wow, that turned out awesome. Now let's turn the light off here. That is going to look great outside. So funny story, I just pulled up to my brother's house and this second pumpkin right here that I got, I actually jacked from his house. I seen it over there and it was a really good sized one, so I thought, I'll take it, I'll carve it, and I'll put it back. And the other day he was like, man, someone jacked my pumpkin. I didn't say anything, but he's my brother. He's obviously cool with it. I'm not supporting going around and stealing pumpkins and carving them and putting them back or anything, but it was with my brother, so it's a pretty good prank. Okay, here is Zoe, the weenie dog, the Halloweenie. So yeah, here, this is the reason I wanted to carve this, is because of her. So there's a little bit of a resemblance there, if you can see. I hope you enjoyed this video and got a lot from it. Now do me a favor, leave me a comment below and let me know what kind of pumpkins you guys are carving. I love to see and hear about all the different designs. And also, if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell right beside it. That's a notification icon. It will let you know when I upload a new video. You guys take care, and I will see you in the next video.
How long did that take?
That took, stenciling was the hardest part from start to finish to carve, maybe 2 hours.
Really?
The hardest part was the actual stenciling. So
It's the coolest thing
so
I've ever
cool.
seen.
Feel free to steal a pumpkin anytime if that's what you're going to do.
I'll be the next one. I want to be carved into a pumpkin.
come here. Right there's this.